Look, as a lot of y'all know, and have been asking me here recently, a lot of they've been asking me about it. There's been a lot of turmoil going on in my life. I got into a verbal altercation with a guy that a week later turned out to be another verbal altercation where gunshots were involved and me getting knocked out. Um, in the beginning, it was a window that got broke out in a rearview mirror or something on the door, and now it's almost $3,000 worth of damage. The prosecutor in this case, Samuel Rogers II, is really like taking this to heart, like I did it to his mom or something. I mean, they're just really taking it personally. It's turned out to be more of a vengeance thing. But in saying all this, first of all, I want to say that many of y'all helped out financially, and you helped out by sending positive energy and keeping hope alive. And I appreciate that more than anything. And so by saying this, the last thing I'm asking for is money. What happened with that money that got sent, it helped me sustain in the county jail. I'm drinking clean water mostly. It's fracked out water there, and you can taste the chemicals in it. It's pretty bad water. And so I was able to get bottled water a couple things a day, a couple pints a day, and so that was good. And also it helped me to get bonded out so I could take care of my case, because here I want to talk to y'all about. I'm throwing this out here at the tribe. I haven't brought this up much. I've been trying to deal with other important matters in our life and in our planet, on our globe, like I always do. I've been trying to find some normalcy in my life. I've been trying to just let my feet hit the fucking ground for a minute and just stand on the ground and think. I haven't even been able to think since October 8th. Y'all, it's just been one nightmare after another. One, either just showing how unjust our justice system is these days, or just showing how we don't know anybody, and anybody can just stab you in the back so bad on things that you never understand. But I'm not going to sit here and whine about my charges. I'm not going to sit here and whine about what I did and didn't do. The thing I'm going to tell y'all is the situation I'm in now. I'm only going to talk about one charge, and it's this property damage charge. And it's the fact that the reason I'm bringing it out to the public, I'm not bringing out anything I won't say in court. Matter of fact, I hope they go back and look at this video as they did the other one. The man came out on a radio show shortly after the incident and admitted that he knocked me out. He admitted that he went back into his house, and that's supposedly when the damage happened. There's also other things he said in the radio show that implicates him on 2 felonies of aggravated assault. He shot at me with a pistol that he openly a 9mm handgun that he openly admits to, and he knocked me out with a stick. He knocked me out on a trail. I wasn't on his property, and nowhere can he explain, or does his story show him even being on his property. All this was done out at the end of his driveway on an open trail called the North Bend Rail Trail. It's not about getting into a fight, y'all. It's not about getting a drunken disorderly charge, or even the police charged me with obstruction of justice, even though there wasn't any obstruction. It was disorderly conduct for sure, but there wasn't no obstruction. The reason why I'm upset and worried is because every time I've gone to court, my bond's either been pulled illegally, because I showed up for court. There was no reason to pull my bond, and it was signed the day before. And the man who signed the bond is the man who pulled the bond, Michael Stapleton. He knew the truth. That's why he bonded me out. He knows he's written to other people like my brother Andy Willis and texted them, and we got all of this. He's called my Karen Sue and told the whole story about how Larry came out there on the trail and knocked me out, and how there was no damage done to his truck, because his truck wasn't even there, and that he's just racking up things, a radio that wasn't even in his dash before the incident, body damage that was already there. He's just throwing in everything he can. Well, this is my problem. The prosecutor is taking all of this to heart. He's only looking at the one side of this coin. He's actually, y'all, I think he's going to try to turn it into a felony. These are the rumors I'm hearing back. Michael Stapleton, who seems to be connected with somebody down there at the courthouse in Ritchie County, he seems to think that they're trying to make a felony out of it. They offered 90 days. Y'all, here's another thing. I first went to court after 30 days. I was asking for an extension. They said so I could get a lawyer, because I thought the $2,800 was kind of steep. And I didn't, like, wow, y'all just saying I broke out a window. How's it $2,800 on a farm use truck too, by the way? This is an old beat down. He's got pictures of it. on Richard Boyd's website, and there's plenty of pictures of it. Just showing, and the police report. The police report also shows just a broken window and a driver's side mirror that got broken out. No radio, no body damage, all the things. The cops were all around it. They all had their flashlights on it. Larry was out there pointing everything out to him. Yet he can't notice that his radio was gone or mashed out or whatever he's claiming. On the radio shows, he said, I must have took a stick or something and thought stuck it through there. There ain't no sticks around there. He's making that up because I normally carry a staff with me. I got a staff I walk with, so he's probably making that up, thinking along those lines with his lie. But the prosecutor's taking all this, and from what I understand, they're going to try to make a felony. My public defender said, I'll see you in court, which is a pre-trial. They offered me 90 days, and I went in there after doing 35 days, y'all. I stayed in jail when they pulled my bond. I listened to some of the people in jail, and they said, hey, in West Virginia, you just get the time served when you go to court. By the time you go to court, you already got 2 for 1. So if you've been in there 30 days, that's 60 days. 45 days is 90 days. And they said they'll give you time served, and you just pay your fine, and everything will be fine. And so I even went in there to do that, to just go along with the system, to say, okay, let's make a deal. I plead no contest. You give me time served, and I'll pay whatever damn damage this man's saying has been done to his truck. And that's when the prosecutor told me, he said, well, you should have took the deal back 30 days ago. And then later on, when I was asking him, why are you doing this to me? I mean, you don't really have a case. There's no witnesses. The man's lying about he only gave estimates, and the estimates have reached an amount that are pretty high. But no proof of this, no work done, no how much it really costs. It's estimates from wherever he sent them to. Is he checking into that, you know? And then asking the people like Michael Stapleton, like his wife, like the fellow named Guy that does the junk business around Pennsboro. All these people have come to me and told me flat out that and I was in his truck, so I know for my own self. The radio was never there, Larry. You're lying about that, but this prosecutor ain't looking at that. He's not talking to this prosecutor, Samuel Rogers II. He's not going to talk to Michael Stapleton or listen to Larry on a radio show explain how he saw none of this. The police report implies that I did it, but there's no witness. Nobody saw nothing. Well, I looked up West Virginia law. I don't know if the prosecutor knows it. I know he knows about vengeance. I know he don't know about taking his own deal. I know he don't know about giving the West Virginia people a break on money and how much these court costs and how much it costs to go to a bench trial. And by the way, a lady named D.L. Hamilton that's worked with the Justice Department down in Charleston, West Virginia, said that a prosecutor has not asked for a bench trial in over 4 years. In over 4 years. So why is me, a West Virginia resident, been living there for the last year and a half of my life, why am I being treated special? Why am I being treated different for the prosecutor after being given an open guilty plea to just throw at me what he wanted, give me time served, month and a half in jail, $2,800 go back to a guy. I got 150 days to pay that like every other West Virginian. Why they double the 60 days for the obstruction of an officer. I watched 15 men go out of the North County Regional Jail on obstruction charges with 30 days time served. That's 2 weeks, but they're going to give me 60 days. So, but fine, I'd already done the time. When I went to court, I had 34 days, and I waited 9 more days to get bailed out. So I almost had the whole 45 days done. But I saw that the prosecutor has got some reason. And I'm not sure if the judge is involved in this or if they're just listening to one side and they really think they're taking up for a legitimate citizen that's telling the truth about some mad vagabond hiker that came through and promised him work and tore his stuff up. None of that's true. I was knocked out before the truck was tore up, knocked out on a trail in the pitch black dark, y'all. It was blacker than you would imagine out there. He had jumped out of some bushes and shot at me 3 times with a handgun and then knocked me out with a stick that Michael Stapleton described to my wife in suit was his biggest baseball bat. I knew I'd been real hard when I come to and was doing Facebook Live where I don't show any obstruction of an officer on Facebook Live. I go right to my knees. I cut my phone off. He knocked it out of my hand. At the same time I cut it off. I complied everything, but still got a charge. The thing is, my adrenaline was up from being shot at and knocked out. I don't know what the hell happened. I never saw his truck when I came up there. That's the other thing. I walked up in the pitch black, never saw a truck. the way he describes his lie on Richard Boyden's radio show out to the public, where the prosecutor should maybe listen to where his accuser and this witness of his is coming from, says that not only didn't see it, that if it had been a year ago, he would have smashed my face in and kicked my ribs in. He shows that he's a violent man, that he was very vindictive over the Donald Trump thing. All this comes down to I wouldn't agree with him on Donald Trump being a great president, and that's really the bottom line. But in saying that, I'm also going to point out that since I've been around Ritchie County law enforcement, I've had one of the DOC guys that takes you back and forth to court. He had to wait in court this last time when Samuel Rogers said the state wanted to go to a bench trial, and I openly told the judge that the prosecutor was abusing his power and seeking vengeance instead of justice. And the judge didn't have nothing to say about that. They let me say it twice, in fact, and the judge didn't care anything about it. But even that guy, this guy's been in law enforcement for over 25 years, said he ain't never seen nothing like that. He ain't never seen anybody explain themselves so well, and just to have and the prosecutor, Samuel Rogers, just walked out of the courtroom, y'all. He didn't even wait for the end of the trial. He didn't say, okay, I'm through with my side of this. He didn't say nothing. He just up and got out, walked out, because I was asking him, why are you doing this? He had no answer except for I should have took the deal 30 days before, and that he was afraid that Judge Hall might find me innocent. So that's why he was wanting to go to a bench trial. It's going to be the same judge, the same court, the same scenario. They just putting it off and was going to keep me in jail longer. That's why I'm telling you. They have got me in jail, and they were going to keep me in jail. The 22nd comes up. They're probably going to try to turn it into a felony and make it more bond money and put me in jail again. I mean, I'll admit it. I must have really stepped on the wrong toes or pissed somebody off in the judicial system down there, but they are completely abusing it. So in saying this, I'm not, like I said before, the other law enforcement, by the way, that I wanted to bring up was the sheriff that took me to jail after my bond was pulled. And I'm not going to mention his name, and I'm going to keep this out of it because he was actually an honorable man and allowed me to make a phone call and get some things squared away right before I got to the jail. He was very nice to me. He even cuffed me up front. When he said that he did not sign on for what was happening to me. He openly admitted to the truck. He said, you can say what you want, I'll deny it later, but I didn't sign up for this. What they're doing to you is a bunch of bullshit. You really pissed somebody off. I don't know who I pissed off. I'm pretty sure that from what I found out since I've been out, that this judge has never been opposed in being voted for. Every election he runs with no candidate running against him, so he just gets his judge position. I'm not sure. There's not much information on Samuel Rogers II to find out, but apparently he's the head prosecutor for Ritchie County, and he wants to take this all the way and put me in prison, all over something that nobody saw me do, all over things that a man has openly already made false charges and given false evidence to the Ritchie County courthouse. I don't know why they're not wanting to investigate what he sent them as being true and real and damage to his truck. I mean, everybody can be poor, somebody can be greedy, somebody can always take an incident like this and try to make more out of it. Why are they just taking the one side? So here's the one thing I can ask you. We can do things for each other that are completely free, that have nothing to do with anything except seeking justice for each other. And all of y'all know about me. My biggest pet peeve in the world is the injustice that is done to us by the system that we support. And we support this system. Nobody says they don't support it. We do our best with it. We hope it changes. We try to just get through without being thrown in jail, without having prosecutors, without having anything from the man. And here it is, another we the people, another citizen doing this, making up these charges that Larry Rodriguez got. Everything, if people seem to know the law, can use the law against you, or people that seem to get mad and really hate can use this against you. Number one, for free, we can quit doing that to each other. If you're a real human being, you'll deal with another brother or sister without involving the law, unless you really just want somebody dead or in prison. Because what happens when you call the law day? If you call the law day, in my opinion, and you know what's going on, in my opinion, you're just using a gun, you're just pulling the trigger on a bigger gun. You're just using a tool against another brother or another sister, because we all know the police ain't gonna help nobody. We all know unless you're really being beat to death, and even then you're liable to get shot or killed. They base everything on appearance. They go with their first story. They don't back down off of nothing. There you go. We got to learn to deal with each other as individuals. If things get broke, if arguments get out of line, even if people get hurt or even hospitalized, why does that involve? Why does an ambulance always involve a police officer these days? They're always trying to get the police involved and the law involved. It's either money being made off of it from putting people in, like here in West Virginia. It's more about feeding this corporate jail system they got. It's prison for pay, y'all. They get $200 a day, $150 from the federal government, $50 a day from West Virginia people, tax money. A corporation does. That's under the umbrella of Halliburton. They get the money for us being in jail. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of judges that get elected without having a running mate. I bet there's or somebody going up against them. I bet there's a lot of prosecutors out there that do try to get rid of people that talk the truth about fracking and other things. I'm not even implying that in this, but in saying that, and I hate to keep going back and forth, but saying that about my anti-fracking and my social justice warrior, me being a in-loving, tree-hugging liberal like I've been called, well, I've been called that by law enforcement here, y'all. I've been called that by the people in the court. They snicker stuff when I walk back. Bet you won't make no more videos in this county. Going back down where you came from with all them ends down there. I hear it. I heard some of it in the jail too, except it wasn't even as bad in the jail. It was mostly bad sarcasm. But I heard it from law enforcement and from judicial officials here. Walking out, the deputies are sure quick to say something fast or under their breath. The people on the other side of the bench are quick to say something. The people on the other side of the courtroom are quick to say something. I heard a lot of whispers. I've just heard it all. So there you go. And that's what makes me wonder, why am I being treated so differently than any other West Virginia resident? I've lived there for a year and a half. I had Vine Leaf Farm in Big Springs, lived right there for a year and a half. Had not a one bit of trouble in West Virginia. Yet the first misdemeanor charges I get, they really throw a lot of misdemeanor time. That for misdemeanor, that's a lot of time, 90 days, and close to $3,000 plus court costs and everything else that go along with it. The booking fee, the $30 they pay you to go to jail. You got to pay $30 to go to jail in West Virginia. It's all about making money. But here it is. Did I step on somebody's toes, just some little man like Larry Rodriguez, and he's using the law against me, or some of the people in this judicial system, or they racist, or do they work for big oil? I don't know. This is what I'm trying to tell you. But all I do know is that I got a prosecutor and a judge that ain't looking at nobody's evidence but the accuser's side. They're not looking at it like anybody. Like justice is supposed to be blind. You're not supposed to go by my appearance. You're not supposed to go by one story. They're supposed to be the ones we trust to put it all together and come out, well, hey, wait a minute, this little bit's true and this little bit true, but come on, you're stretching it over here. Coming to a compromise, not just here's charges, you're instantly guilty, here's some time. No, that ain't how it's supposed to work. This prosecutor actually said that in the courtroom. So it's been documented in the courtroom. He actually said, when I asked him, why are you doing this? Why are you taking this to a bench trial? He said, well, I'm afraid Judge Hall right here might find you innocent. And I replied, well, God forbid that somebody find me innocent in a court of law where we come up and give evidence to a judge. I asked the judge at the beginning of the case, all dressed in orange and shackled up in handcuffs for a misdemeanor in a small town. I looked up at the judge, and the first thing I asked was, I'm not from here. I'm not used to a magistrate court. You're the judge, right? And he said, yes, I'm the judge. I said, you rule on everything, right? And I said, yes. I said, that means you just take what he said and what I say and you rule on it. You're the final word. He said, yeah. But yet he went right along with the prosecutor both times. He ain't tried to reduce my bail. He ain't done anything I asked for. And this last time asked me once again if I wanted a public defender. Well, the public defender, y'all, you talking about a story getting worse and worse. The public defender, he writes me a letter while I'm in jail. I get the letter on the 19th. The day, this is the main reason I got bailed out as quick as I did. The day before I bailed out, he writes it to me on the 19th and says, hey, I sent all this, they want the information from the prosecutor and want to know what they know and the witness list and all this stuff and all the information I could have got myself. He writes a little side notes and says, note, my office will be shut down from December 19th to January 13th. That means I ain't going to get to see him till the 14th. You have a court date on January 22nd. See you in court. He wasn't even going to talk to me about my witnesses. He wasn't going to talk to me about my side of it either. Even my public defender, y'all, even my public defender just said, see you in court. Where I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to say it right now, right here on January 2nd, 3 weeks before court, when I go in that courtroom, they're going to charge me with a felony and give me a higher bond and put me right back in jail. And I won't be getting the misdemeanor treatment. I won't be getting the old man cell. I'll be getting put with the felons because it's a felony. So there you go on that. So that's just going to be another rough part of my life over false charges. So here's what I'm getting about the free part. I'm going to quit trying to. I mean, I can't stop thinking about my side of this, y'all. And any of you would understand this if you were in my shoes. And I would listen to any of you if you were right out here just doing the best you could, like throwing it out to the universe, out to the digital universe, to my friends and people that's known me for years, and tell you that, wow, I'm not getting even close to anywhere near any justice, not even being, look, I could see, let's get this clear right now. I could see, I'm from the deep South in small counties. I know how they run their business. And the communities like it that way. I'm all about the community. I'm not mad at Ritchie County about how they're doing their court system or how their people want things. What I'm mad about is nobody's looking at any justice on this or both sides of it. They're just going one side, and that's not even close to being the truth. It's even got fabricated evidence. But I'm not stupid enough to know that I pissed off somebody in a small county. Maybe that sheriff when I was cussing his deputy, maybe that deputy. I have no idea. But even down south, they get to put you in work camp for a little while, and then it's over with. They don't try to find reasons to trump you up. They'll get some money out of you. They'll get their little blood out of you for pissing them off. But I've never seen nothing like this before. Going way beyond some redneck showing his ass in a little small town. You know what I'm saying? They're really abusing their power. Here's what I'm getting at before my signal cuts out. One of the main things we can do for each other that's free is we can be character references for each other. Many of us sit out here and talk. Many of us have talked on the phone. Many of us have been in person or even spent some time periods together, camping or living together or whatever. We got to. I'm hoping that for anything. I can't ask y'all. We're all broke. Nobody's got any money. I don't need money. I don't need anything but more lawyers and throwing this fake ass legal system. What I would like to see is Samuel Rogers II and Judge Hall of the Ritchie County Magistrate Court get character references on who I am. Like, why aren't you listening to his side of the story? Why aren't y'all paying attention to both sides of this story? How can one man, Larry Rodriguez, just say that these things happen and nobody's a witness, not even a one witness, and that he puts all this information out, commits crimes himself, out in the open, talks about what a violent man he is, yet I'm charged with messing with the police, obstructing the police, and I'm charged with damaging his property? I mean, if he was out there shooting at me and knocking me out, then why would he just go inside and let me tear up his truck and then call the police 10 minutes later? That's the other thing, too. The prosecutor, Samuel Rogers, will look at the time frame on this. He says in the radio show that he left me sitting there on my knees, couldn't move, was mumbling stuff at him, acting crazy from being knocked out, and just sat there on my knees. And 10 minutes later, and then he went inside the house and he called the police, not saying nothing about damage, nothing about nothing. 10 minutes later, I'm 200 yards, 300 yards away doing a Facebook Live. Had been doing it for 10 minutes. So even Superman can't do something that quick, damage something, and then run down a trail in the pitch dark, knocked out, drunk, like everybody says, meticulously do this damage, do it just right, find a stick, everything in the dark, and then make it 300 yards down the trail, then get on Facebook Live, and I'm on there for 10 minutes. No, your time frame don't even work out because it's all based on lies. If anybody could do anything for me or any of our other brothers and sisters out here, and I got a point about that at the end, so just hold on a minute because I'm almost through with all this crying. I'm worried. I mean, I'm really worried about this. I'm really being faced with some serious lies by a man that's just mad. And man, I would even be willing, if Larry Rodriguez right now would be willing to back off and say, hey, okay, the radio damage wasn't there and some of this body damage wasn't there. It was just this or that. I'd still be able to plea deal with them, but not the way they're doing it. They're taking one side. They're trumping it up. They're trying to make it a big old case. I don't know if it's because of a small county, like I said, or this man just being a hater and putting it to prosecutor, or if I pissed off somebody up higher up in Ritchie County. But either way, I need character references for that. Letters wrote, send a fax, even call if you can. I heard they wasn't answering out-of-state calls, and I know a lot of people have done this. But this is something that we can do for each other free. And y'all, this is my point exactly. Many of us, matter of fact, most of us either got people in jail or we've been in jail ourselves. We know that is completely wrong. We know it's all set up for people that own the Bob Barker catalog business and the corporate paid-for prisoner system. We all know it's a drain on our tax money. We know it's a drain on our families because somebody don't just go to jail. I couldn't have just went to jail by myself. If it hadn't been for you, my tribe, I wouldn't have had no clean water in there. I wouldn't even had no fireball or nothing. So I wouldn't have been able to get a letter out. I wouldn't have been able to get my phone calls out. I wouldn't able to get myself out. So they make the family pay. It's all a big corporate prison run system. Board of directors are out there to make money. And this is one of those cases, but you are involved in them too, ain't you? So here's where I'm getting at. I don't ever just think about myself. This is something that we should be able to do for each and every one of us. And I mean at a legitimate level too. Nobody is an island out there. We got some people like me, might be loners and might live alone, but we've talked to other people. We're friends with certain people. Those people can stand out and write letters. Those people can say, I've never seen this in the character of this person. I've seen nothing but the opposite of what you're saying or this man's being accused of. Why? Or even point out the injustices. I just had a brother out here recently that has a son that's being charged with a murder charge, and they're having to do this. It's the only way that we can petition a court system to let them know that that family member or that friend, that tribal member is not alone, that other people know them, that other people love them, that other people care, that other people are watching what's going on, that other people are questioning what kind of justice. Because listen, let's be honest. There needs to be justice. If it wasn't for the lack of justice, crime wouldn't be running rampant like it is. If it wasn't the way they give justice to one side more than the other, it would even be more trusted. But the only way that we can change that is to be the change. And this is what I'm talking about. There's free things. I know that we're all broke, y'all, and I love y'all for that, by the way. I don't think I would feel comfortable talking to or being around anybody that wasn't struggling or broke, because that just seems to where we get real about other things. We live less in the fantasy world and the conditioned, comfortable world, and we live more in the real world, being cold, being hungry, knowing people that have all these problems that we see on the TV and hear in the news, or just see in our lives. These are our people. We are our people. We the fucking people, y'all. We can do these things for each other free. And listen, once again, I'm not being passionate about this or trying to convince you of a damn thing because of myself. This is something that we had been doing. It just started when I got stuck in Pennsboro. And one of the reasons I got stuck in Pennsboro, my sister Erin had helped me start that homeless information portal. And it was a terminally ill homeless woman that was going to court and on a bench warrant. So she should have even been able to get out because she didn't show up the first time. But Erin was able to go in there and be an advocate for her, to speak for her, to talk for her. And she let the judge know that the woman only had a short time to live and that spending it all in jail to go to a court thing that probably wasn't going to amount to nothing. Wow, look, here's what we're doing to each other. And look, they let her go. They let her go to live the rest of her life out. And I'm not sure that story in there, but that's how we can begin trying to change the justice system. I think that letters and faxes and even phone calls from us to other people all around the nation, maybe even around the world, saying, hey, I know that person. Hey, they just need to be treated fairly. Hey, be blind to justice. You know, because many things are done in small counties. Many things are done in big cities where they stereotype us, where they just look at the case file in a picture, or just look at your color or your income. That's the main thing. If you got money, you can get out. If you don't got money, you're going to stay in so they can make money off of you. And that's just the way it is. But when you can help break these stereotypes, when you can help another human being, another person in this tribe, with at least a character reference, just a care, and really being truthful about what you know. I'll be honest, I don't think any of us should be risking our necks over somebody, but many of us we do talk to each other. We do connect. We do understand what level we're on. I mean, listen, it's kind of hard to fool people on a lot of things. You really have to be a true sociopath and really know how to lie to people to get away with certain things and not be who you are. I think any one of us out here could have a grandson or a daughter or a son or somebody we know to get in trouble. We say, okay, you know, they shouldn't be drinking, or hey, okay, this shouldn't be going on, and you let them go. But some of these things, we have had people in our lives, people that we've seen all around that have been put in jail for major charges just for taking the deal. Just so a prosecutor or a DA can feel like they won a case, or a public defender can say they did enough and gave you the best thing possible. Nobody looks at what really happened, and this is, in my case, it's that way, and in many cases out there, nobody cares enough to take the time in an overloaded legal system or to even break the cycle, of injustice to certain people, to even realizing and admitting that this pay for prison system was created, and we had so many people in jail that they didn't know what to do about it. All you could hear about for decades was about how we were going broke under the prison system, and then in the late 90s, the corporations completely took over, and now look how you don't hear about nothing but how many prisons we got, how many more prisons we can put people in, how they can pop up a FEMA camp for 1,000 people in a matter of like 8 hours. So think about that. It's hemming us up is the deal, but the injustice part, we can help each other with. And I'll say it just like that because it's free and it's out of love and it's out of the truth. I would love and appreciate any kind of character reference that could be sent to the Ritchie County Magistrate's office, and I'll try to put that address up there in the telephone number. And I would do the same for any of you that was vouching for your child, was vouching for you, your grandchild, vouching for a friend. Many of us know each other at that level enough to where we can trust what the other one's saying. We need to do this all across our system, all before we got people like, and I mean, and I'm too predominantly mean homeless people or really poor people that don't have something to pay into the system to get out. We need to keep them out. This is a meat market. Jails and prisons need to be there for real criminals doing real crime, not for homeless people, not for a way of keeping up with people that are poor, don't got any money, not keeping up with drug addicts or social problems like drinkers and all that. It's a place for real criminals and real crimes, and some of them are running our goddamn country. But there you go on that. So think about that. Think how you can do it. Let me know when and whenever I can do it for you. I think we should have a system of people that can do this, and I think we should be ready, available for what's going on in this time. It's all out there. It's going to be a lot of injustice, and then it's going to be a collapse, y'all. So think about that. I love you. Thank you for listening so long. I'm just in a really impossible situation. I can't imagine. I don't know anybody that's ever even got a story to tell me like this, that they walk. I cannot walk in your shoes. Only men I know that have been accused of rape and found innocent 30 years later or 20 years later. People like that, I'm just looking at thinking, I don't want to be like that. I just don't want to be like that. Even if it's just a year. I feel like I'm being trapped into West Virginia, and I think and I know legally that I'm being abused by a system, and I just don't know what to do about it. So I'm talking to my lawyers, I'm doing my thing, and I just want to thank you for the help before, but really what we can do for each other and what I could use help with right now is references and speaking up people and asking law enforcement and asking prosecutors and district attorneys, why aren't they looking over here? Look at how many things get missed in a case that could have changed the whole case. So think about that. I love y'all. Peace. And don't live in fear. I'm doing my best not to live in fear, but I'm pretty scared right now, y'all. I'm real worried about what's going to happen. So think about that. Peace.